fans expect in this installment, and to the ones who've like just learned about Drumsticks of Doom, who don't know about it, like how would you introduce this story to them?
So I would tell them the pitch, which is that it's a world where Black Sabbath became the biggest band in the world instead of the Beatles, and it opened a literal portal to hell because of just the power of metal, just summoning hell to come up into the world, right? And in doing so, people realized that like they got along with most of these creatures, like demons and werewolves were not so scary. They were just, creatures that had their own issues. But in doing so, also it raised a lot of mystical and magical things that some people were using for good and for evil. And our hero is the drummer of a metal band. Her name is Lana, and she kind of wants to write like what we would consider to be pop tunes, but they're firmly in the metal camp. So she kind of sits and does her own thing until one day she realizes that she has abilities that are magical and mystical, and they are accessed through her drumsticks. And they tend to be aiming themselves towards things that are bad, like certain characters and creatures in the show, in the comic, I should say. So if you like metal, if you like werewolves and demons and Black Sabbath, I think you would like it. And what's cool about it is we've been going pretty good with this. John Westhoff is the writer and creator, as well as me. Co-creator and illustrator. We're pretty much the core team of the thing. But we did a full 4-issue miniseries that was collected into a trade paperback. And then now we're in a new story arc, which is 3 issues. And the one that we're doing right now is issue 2. So in this one, Lana's recording with a certain drummer from Rush who is very much alive in this world and doesn't have the same notoriety because Rush wasn't like a metal band like the way that everything else was. So he's like kind of a mentor to her, and they're recording this album, but nefarious forces are kind of getting in the way, and like there's like a Baba Yaga house that creeps into it. There's a Frankenstein monster. There's all this just really fun stuff that is kind of like this kind of stuff that you could really get away with in comics and have fun with, So it's if you like things that are a little more fantastical, and definitely if you've got like a flair for the metal, you would love this.
All right.
Yeah.
And sort of centered around like metal, and if Black Sabbath would be the biggest band, like do you ever find your love of music, like your love for creating music and just music in general, like influencing the storytelling?
Sure.
Let me correct myself. Is it you're the illustrator, but did you also like work with the storyline as well? A
little bit. I mean, only to finesse the really cool stuff that John gives me already. Because sometimes, and this is true of any dynamic between two creators. If it's going well, you're always trying to make the other person look good, right? You're trying to amplify and
sort of like bounce back ideas.
Yeah, and
that's
also
what I meant. I mean, if you guys bounce ideas back for it.
Yeah, we do, and we do. I mean, I definitely always respect the writer's vision. I feel like because I'm a writer myself, so I feel like if I was in their shoes, I would want constructive feedback that is like, okay, this doesn't work because this, or we can maybe do this better with that. Like those things are helpful. And with what he does and what any writer does, you write it down, but you don't really get to see it become a reality until somebody's drawing it, right?
Yeah.
So when that happens, sometimes you got to make, adjustments and changes. And we actually just recently, maybe it was last night, because I was drawing the book. I think it was last night. I wrote him and I was like, I got a problem in the script of just mechanics of how it was working. Like there was something that was happening that was hard. Once I saw it visually, I was like, I don't think they would have done that. I know your characters. I don't think they would have done that. And he's like, you're right. But until we saw it, you couldn't really click with it, So then he kind of went back to the drawing board real quick, made some edits, brought it back to me, and then I ran with that. I just fine-tuned a few things, and we both came out really happy with it. But it's the kind of thing that happens with a good creative team, is that you're not afraid to tell the other person something that, maybe goes against what they were originally intending, because you're not trying to say it to be contrarian. You're trying to say it because you want them to get to where they wanted to be. And they might have built in an unknowing roadblock or an obstacle that you have to clear, So
Yeah.
we do that to each other all the time. Like he'll call me out on things where I'm like, oh, I didn't even catch that, and like, it really helps to have as many sets of good eyes on things as you can. But my love of music too really pops in because I love drawing people playing, I love it when he gives me like full band shots where I get to like, and I haven't had that in an issue, so I'm getting hungry for it. But when the full band's cooking and I get to draw everyone like expressive and exaggerated and animated in a comic, I feel like I'm trying to channel my own experience as a musician through that,
But I want to touch on the music, like your music. But before we do, you want to play one of your songs?
Let's do it.
All right. Here is the title track off Dan's 2020 album called Bad Ideas.
It's not to know I've been crossing your mind. Baby, I could tell you all my